welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins. In the last episode, Rintaro, Okabe and Moeka Kiryu were both on a stakeout, watching the IBN 5100, and just as expected, SERN's rounders came and claimed the IBN and carted it off with them. However, they did so in a rather unusual fashion. At various checkpoints, each rounder would pass the IBN to another rounder, and so on and so forth, all around the city of Akihabara. Nevertheless, Rintaro's dogged determination led him true, and we actually managed to find the final courier of SERN, of the Rounders' little to and fro. The last man we ever expected to see working with the Rounders. Tennouji himself. Yuugo Tennouji, aka Mr. Brawn, who's sitting in the driver's seat of his car. Nobody else is riding, so safe to assume that Nai isn't with him, which means that Tennouji is keeping his daughter unaware of the fact that he is working with SERN, which doesn't really surprise me given his character. The crew cut guy should arrive at just after 5 PM. Unfortunately, the world line convergence will not allow us to actually have the IBN itself, unfortunately. But then again, maybe we don't need to. As expected, the crew cut man arrives right on time, effortlessly dragging the suitcase behind him. It feels weird seeing the exact same scene from a different angle. Well, that's what they call deja vu, Rintaro. At least it isn't a glitch in the Matrix. That would really be troubling. I hurry back to the car where Moeka's waiting. The station wagon rolls past us. It takes a left turn at the Shoadori intersection towards Okachimachi. Moeka smoothly sets the car in motion. Once again, we're on the trail. Finally, we arrive at Tennouji's house. This is the house where Suzuha Amane, aka Suzu Hashida, lived. Her old rusty mountain bike is still sitting out in the front. Tennouji brings the IBN 5100 inside. We stop a little farther down the road and keep watch. It appears that Tennouji is planning to hand off the IBN to SERN. That is a very good question. Hopefully we can get some answers out of Tennouji.
あの家に運び込んだことが何を意味するかだ。一時的な保管場所ということなのか。それとも。
Is he FB? Does he know FB? Questions that we shall answer hopefully soon enough. Moeka insists that FB is a woman, so maybe it's Tennouji's wife, whom I've never met. That would truly be another terrifying thought. I have Moeka show me one of FB's emails. FB. Ari, sorry for not being useful. M4. That's Moeka's codename among the Rounders. It's true that you're not very good with people, but I think that that's just part of what makes you unique and special. Besides, you have no trouble talking to me, do you? Honestly, M4, there's no one else who works as hard as you do. I'm very thankful for that. I'm glad you joined the Rounders. Even if nobody else values you, I'll always look out for you. Feel free to email me whenever you like. Oh yes, since you're finally in Nagoya, you should try some of the local delicacies. It's not good for your health to keep eating convenient store food. Or do you not like miso soup in M4? In any case, a girl your age needs to eat better. I recommend the firm miso stew. Your next mission is to go to Akihabara in Tokyo, so find an apartment by next week. I deposited a special bonus in your account, so feel free to use it. Talk to you soon. Your mother, FB. And I'll just get rid of that. I got rid of the phone. Unfortunately, the pop-up thing happened, and that's really unfortunate. She's kept a lot of mails archived like this one. Now, that was a pretty detailed email reply to Morika's email. We have two possibilities. Could if Morika is telling the truth, and this email is to be believed at face value, then could it be that FB is actually Morika Kiryu's actual biological mother? That would truly be that would certainly be a disturbing revelation for Morika herself. But something in my intuition tells me that my intuition about the possibility of identity fraud is still at about roughly 5%. No, make that 3%. For those of you who get that particular reference, I commend you for having excellent deductive skills. But I think it's safe to say that Morika's been thrown for a loop. I think we already surmised that, given that the crew cut man was the one who referred to you by that in the word line there in which you murdered Mayuri Shino in cold blood. But though actually, now that I've read the email in question, it's not hard to see why Morika feels so strongly towards FB. Because FB actually gave her some very useful advice. As in healthy eating and keeping your complexion up and so on and so forth. So maybe FB isn't entirely a bad person. Then again, FB is one of SERN's handlers for the Rounders, and SERN aren't really in the moral department as we've seen so far. Morika's a mailing machine. She sent FB nearly 10 mails a day, but FB replied to every single one of them. That takes dedication and patience. You'd have to be a saint to reply to all those emails. No wonder Morika was so dependent on FB.
今度はここで張り込みだな。
I've Daru set up a wireless infrared camera on the telephone pole down the street. It's very good thinking. We park a couple blocks away and watch the video feed. Let's see what happens. The next day, Tennouji goes to work on his moped like usual. He returns after sunset. So is he holding on to the IBN, or is he going to transfer it later? There's no sign of his daughter Nai or his wife. Something finally happens early Sunday morning. Just before 3 a.m, 6 people show up at Tennouji's house.
あれは
It's dark, but I recognize them. They're the rounders who raided the lab with Moeka. Unfortunately, in this world line, they are no longer under her command. And of course, as a result, Moeka has no real knowledge of who these individuals are, other than the fact that they're part of the same group, so to speak. Moeka doesn't show much of a reaction. I thought she knew them. Not on this world line, Rintaro. I ask, but she says she's never met them before. It looks like this world's line's Moeka has been cut off completely. Were they done with her once she found them in IBN 5100? I would say so. In fact, I bet my money on that. Tennouji comes outside and loads the IBN into the station wagon. Then the 6 men get in and drive away. Tennouji sees them off, then goes back inside his house. Looks like he was just another courier after all, but nevertheless, we have to confront the man who is our landlord. Although this time I don't think a 10,000 yen increase in our rent is gonna scare Rintaro Okabe off. Not this time. I'm interested in Tennouji's story, but the IBN will lead us to FB. We decide to follow the station wagon. And if we fail to find it, we can always go back to Tennouji. The pursuit ends at Narita International Airport. The 6 men, IBN in tow, board a plane heading to France. Straight to SERN headquarters. What does this mean? It means that unless we change this particular world line with FB's phone, we will not get the IBN 5100 from SERN.
天王寺の妻が FB の可能性がある
Since there's no sign of FB thus far, she must be an extremely cautious individual, but the evidence suggests only one possibility. On World Line Alpha 1, Moeka's men attacked the night the time leap machine was completed. The timing was perfect. It makes sense that you assume that Tennouji is closely linked to FB. He was right downstairs the whole time we were discussing our plans. FB knew exactly what we were up to. We were dancing to her tune all along. When we get back to Akiba, Moeka and I start walking to Tennouji's house. But on the way, I get an angry call from Kurisu demanding an update, so I decide to take care of that first. Now is not the time, Christina, but I understand your concern. We really have to stop meeting like this. Kurisu sighs when she sees me.
あんたね、少しは連絡したらどうなの?
Well, we couldn't keep you posted on anything that we didn't know, but now we know.
ずっと立て込んでいたのだ
立て込んでたね。
Running around, chasing after the IBN 5100. Kurisu glances at Moeka.
もしかして心配していたのか
Certainly seemed that way given your recent emails.
私じゃないわよ。私は別にあんたがどこで何をしてようが知ったことじゃないけど。
Your expression belies your true intentions, there, Kurisu.
ただ、前よりはすごく心配してた。見てて 痛々しいぐらいにね。
Fortunately, Mayuri doesn't have anything to be worried about.
せめてあの子にだけは連絡してあげなさいよ。
We should probably do that. A sad Mayuri, an unhappy Mayuri is a very bad thing. Now that she mentions it, I feels like I haven't talked to Mayuri in forever.
全てはマユリを救うため。敵の正体がもうすぐ分かりそうなんだよ。
Indeed, if we can find out FB's true identity, all will finally be revealed. And hopefully we can do all that today, before the 16th, which is Mayuri's D-Day, unfortunately.
というか敵って。
Kurisu glances at Moeka again. Moeka is completely expressionless. She's likely kicking the dirt in boredom. She hasn't used her phone once since we began the search for FB.
彼女は敵じゃないの？
No, unfortunately she's basically a disgruntled former employee.
敵だが真実を求めるため協調体制をとっている。
マユリを殺す人なんでしょ？
She is indeed, though that will not happen in this world line.
そうだ。
However, Moeka's just a pawn, and one that no longer poses a threat. Indeed, and looking at the phone again, it would seem that today is Moeka's D-Day, which means at some point this evening or something, Moeka Kiryu will die, one day before Mayuri. To save Mayuri, I need to capture the king, well, the king's cell phone, to be sure.
まあいい。それでこれからどこか行くんでしょ？私もついていく。
I know you're eager to follow us on this quest, but we need you to remain at the Future Gadget Laboratory with the PhoneWave TBA.
助手よ。
正気だけど助手じゃないから。
You certainly said that with a straight face.
危険かもしれないぞ。
Indeed, this isn't a children's card game we're playing. We're playing with our very lives, the lives of the world line for that matter. Kurisu falters for a moment, but quickly tightens her expression.
今日の私は死ぬことになってる。
I've experienced the future, so I know who dies today, and it isn't Kurisu
お
Makase.
前は死なない。
だったら問題なし。世界から死なないことを保証されたようなものだから。
Right, Kurisu doesn't die today. Neither does Mayuri. The only person who does is the woman standing next to us. Moeka Kiryu. This afternoon, she kills herself or dies in a completely different fashion. I've already told Moeka her fate, but in spite of that, Moeka doesn't seem upset, or at least on the surface. She's expressionless as always. The only difference is that she's not checking her phone as often. Probably because she's still apprehensive about the possibility of finding out who FB really is. But Moeka's not a strong woman. Indeed, her mental constitution is quite frail. Beneath that expressionless mask, is she struggling against the fear of death or the fear of the world? Questions for another time. I decide to confront Tennouji directly. But that will be in the next episode of Let's Play Steins Gate. When we return, we shall indeed confront our landlord, Yuugo Tennouji, the man we call Mr. Brawn, and hear what he has to say about his involvement with SERN's rounders. As always, until next we meet, adventurers.